Thanks for joining us for another edition of Time for Hope. I'm Dr. Freda Cruz, your host, and as promised, author, teen expert, and host of Choose Now Radio, Nicole O'Dell, is joining me for a second week with another one of her Hot Buttons books series. This one is her Internet edition. A large percentage of tweens and teens who have access to the Internet have used social networking technologies, with Facebook being the premier social networking site for Internet users of all ages. Social networking has its positives, even for tweens and teens, but parents can be naive about time spent and sites being visited and or used by their kids. Nicole has tremendous directions for smart parents to be in the know about their children and use of the Internet. She provides both practical and biblical directions for taking appropriate steps with your kids when it comes to the Internet. For more, stay with us. And Nicole, thanks for your patience and agreeing to doing 2 shows while you're here with us. We appreciate that.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
This time I'm going to read exactly what you say a hot button is, okay?
Right.
A hot button is any emotional or controversial issue that has the potential to trigger intense emotion. What topics jump to mind that fit this description when you think of teens and tweens? Pretty much everything that pummels your kids with temptation and threatens to pull them away from a walk with God. And so you name music, dating, computer use, texting, partying, and then of course now they're saying sexting.
That's right.
Right along with the texting and so forth. So if they didn't get it totally last week, they should have it by now when we're talking about hot buttons and our teens and even tweens.
Sometimes even more so, those tweens and preteens. We want to get in there ahead of time before their first exposure to pornography on the Internet. You know, we maybe set our home computers to have software that'll prevent those certain websites from popping up. But what about their friend's house? What about if they're riding on the bus and everyone has those smartphones that access the Internet and their friends are passing it around? We have no control over that. And it's a daily exposure, and it will happen. And that's why we as parents, we need to train our kids, we need to equip them with the understanding of what they're going to face and why it will be tempting, why it's something that will entice them, and why it's dangerous for them, so they can guard against it by their own choice.
You know, last week we talked about some of the issues that teenagers are facing, and also I read from a parent where something had already happened and so forth. And you know, I believe some of the problems that parents are having with older teens and even adolescents have to do with this very thing on the Internet. When it first came out, in other words, it actually provided a babysitting service.
Right, it still
and
does,
what they did, they let their kids, they put them in a room with the TV on. The television came first, by the way, and they left them in there watching whatever they wanted to watch, so they could get other things done on television. And then when it came, you know, to the computers, they did this. They've done the same thing, and so it leads to all kinds of hot buttons. And parents, I don't think they've been fully aware of what was going on in the room they had left them in and the freedom that they had given them.
Right. And just like, you know, with money, it's not money that's the root of all evil, it's the love of money. It's not the Internet that's evil, it's not Facebook that's evil, it's not, you know, dating that's evil. It's what we allow our kids to be exposed to and how they're prepared to approach it, and then how we model, what we model in our homes. It's what we do with it. And I think any of these things can be great tools. Social media can be a great tool. fun, relationship building, even Bible study, online Bible study, and online. It's okay to have fun.
Music
And Pandora and different, but we take it. Our teenagers take it too far, and they get into file sharing and downloading, illegal downloading, and trading of movies and songs that is ultimately stealing in the end. And we as parents, if we're not training them, they're just going down this path. It's like a snowball effect, and it builds and builds and builds. And if we don't grab hold of what they're exposed to and how they see it and how they use these tools, then we're just turning them loose and asking them to raise themselves.
And I find so many, even adolescents today, even those that are going to college, they don't have the slightest idea where they're headed and what they really want to do in life and with life. They're just kind of hanging loose to see what will happen. And you say that during the teen years, that teens are to prepare to choose a mate, but some of them jump at that too early. Some of them choose a mate too early by going with one, with one and getting involved with them all kinds of ways, even sexually, too early. And so we have to be careful about that. I have a grandson that when he was getting of the age of starting to date, there was a saying in my day, and my dad always said it, and of course, he was not a college-educated person, but it was just good old stuff that was said back then. Love them and leave them. In other words, don't get hung up.
Don't get serious.
But when I was telling my grandson that, you know what? I had to rethink it and have him and tell him, wait, we got to redefine this. Not love them and leave them, because that has a different meaning these days. Like them and leave them. And he's done a pretty good job of that, actually. And he's told his other friends that this is what my Nana says. And they say, your Nana doesn't tell you that. And, but it is dangerous to get too involved too early with, if you're going to be choosing a mate. You don't have to choose one at 16 or 18 years old.
And the internet exposes them to adult things, conversations and activities and exposures that just catapults them into those into that understanding and those adult type relationships. And so often we're dealing with parents maybe who aren't home after school. Maybe they're at work and the kids are home alone.
Yes, we dealt with that a few years ago.
Yeah.
A lot of people did write about it and
the internet becomes that, and the teenagers then have access to the internet. And even if people joke with me, even if parents have those great software programs out there that our kids are too smart, they can get around that.
Well, and sometimes even I can't help some spam thing coming through.
Nothing is
no
perfect.
Matter what kind of safeguards we put on, they manage to slip through with it. And if they see it the first time, if you talk to someone, especially a male that's been involved in pornography, they can remember the first time it hit their brain, and that hooked them. They were hooked with the first exposure to pornography.
It's like the garden. It's sin. It's that initial exposure, and all of a sudden the blinders are off, and they realize what's out there. And it becomes an open door, and it leads to so much. And we need to let them know this is what is out there, and this is why it's so dangerous for you and damaging to your future. This is what pornography will do to your future relationships. We need to have those conversations with them when they're 12.
Yeah, and you know what I'm thinking too, as parents, because many people don't even understand this about God, our heavenly parent, our heavenly Father, that the rules He lays down aren't just arbitrary to keep you from having fun or keep you from enjoying life. They're to protect us from unnecessary pain, unnecessary sin that because he doesn't like it when we sin, but sin ultimately brings death. That could mean an emotional death, a psychological death, and sometimes it brings physical death. So our children need to understand we're not trying to rob them of fun and getting to go along with their peers. We're looking out for them, as you say. We are to protect.
Right.
We are to shield, and we're to prepare. I like those three P's.
And it's so important that we have fun with our kids and they enjoy us and we enjoy them. But it's okay to have moments in our relationship when they're mad at us. It's all right to say, no, these are the boundaries I'm setting, and I am the parent.
The parent. I totally agree with you. I can remember my son, he was with his daughters, and so they had, one of them had a sleepover, and they included him in a lot of what went on and so on and so forth, and he was so proud. I said, you just count on it. The time will come when they're not going to want you in on that on their party or their sleepover. So it's not always that way.
Yes.
And then you say they're to need to learn and establish financial habits, develop a work ethic, and cultivate parenting skills themselves. Is that what you're talking about?
Absolutely, absolutely. And the internet is a great way to approach some of those issues the right way.
Oh, because this is what my mom or dad or both did or required or taught me, so it can go down. And the scriptures refer to that, going down from generation to generation. God's word, His commandments, and so forth. And then one more thing, you've got grow into or out of a deeper personal relationship with God. Really, that's our foundation, isn't it, as parents?
Absolutely.
And grandparents?
Yes.
Our foundation is God's word and a growing relationship with Him.
And modeling that for our kids, when they get on the internet and they look at the search bar and they see where we've been, are they going to find a model there for their own behavior?
I want to talk about that when we come back off break, when they see where we've been. I want to find out how you manage this in your home, so that you're using the same computer and they can follow where you've been. And we will be right back. Parents today must protect their children from evil predators prowling their neighborhoods, from drug peddlers, inappropriate movies and television shows, and the cyber world at large. And the latter can present the greatest challenge because through it, the other concerns are ever present. Parents who wish to protect and at the same time guide their children in using the internet must educate themselves regarding internet usage, the educational opportunities available for both themselves and their children, and the dangers that lurk with the click of the mouse. I suggest the following guidelines gleaned from my research on the subject. 1. Resolve to learn as much as you can about the computer yourself, or have someone available to assist you in monitoring your child's social networking, the websites and chat rooms they visit, as well as the language they use in their text messaging and emails. 2. Join your child and observe their surfing habits while asking questions and offering opinions. 3. Place the computer in a central area of your home or require that their bedroom door remain open while they are on the computer, and advise them that their mobile devices are to be available for your monitoring upon request. 4. Help your children develop an acute awareness that bad people can pretend to be their friends in chat rooms. As the parent, don't hesitate to lay down some unalterable rules related to your child's internet activities, beginning with they must never tell anyone on the internet their full name, address, telephone number, or the name of their school without your permission. 2, they will not agree to meet any online friends in person for the first time without you being present. 3, they will stop immediately if they come across anything that makes them feel uncomfortable or they know you would not approve of. And parents, for needed wisdom, don't hesitate to ask the Heavenly Parent for help. Thanks for staying with us on Time for Hope. We appreciate having you join us on Time for Hope. And today our guest is Nicole O'Dell, and we're talking about one of her books that's in a series titled Hot Buttons, and the one we are discussing today has to do with the internet, so it's Hot Buttons Internet Edition. And Nicole, you had said when we went off that we have to model how we use the computer and how we use ugly things when they appear, and how we use the temptation, maybe some men especially, and maybe even women, the temptation to go to the pornography sites and so forth. And you said that your children need to be able to know that you've been to the right places. So, okay, what are your rules having to do with the internet in your home?
Well, there are many ways to access the internet. So, and in most homes, that's true. So I no longer feel that there is a way to just put a software program on one computer and keep it safe that way, because like I mentioned before, if they're on the school bus, everyone has a smartphone, all their friends do, they're sharing. So we rules include, different sites to visit and what's okay, what's not okay, and what's expected. But as a parent, if you get on the internet and you're doing questionable things on the internet, you're visiting sites, your teenagers can see where you've been through the search history, through the browser history. And if you don't know about that, then it's something you want to definitely explore, and it's a way you can follow your teenagers' travels on the internet as well. I got a letter one time. I have a column called Girl Talk on my blog, and readers write in, and my daughters and I answer their questions. And this one particular girl wrote in that she had walked into her dad's den, his office, and came up behind him, and he had pornography opened on his...
I bet he turned it off real quick, didn't he?
Yes, but in that case, that parent is the one responsible for exposing his child to pornography. And what a horrible thing to have to realize that, that's why we have to be so careful about what we're doing, the television shows and movies we're watching, and the internet sites we're visiting, and what we're introducing to our homes.
But you don't have just a computer out in an open area and require everybody to use that computer. And
no, it used to be that way, but it's just not that way anymore.
Yeah, that won't work with
laptops and cell phones and video games.
Yeah, we live in a real world,
Yes.
and we have to face it, the issues. Just like there were hot buttons during the time I was rearing my children that were very minor compared to the hot buttons that parents are facing today. But every generation has its challenges,
Right.
and even in rearing children. So,
Absolutely.
yeah. All right, then we mentioned Facebook, and then of course there's Twitter and Foursquare and LinkedIn and YouTube and others. I want you to talk about the others that people might be unfamiliar with.
Well, and it's one of those things, I've listed several in the Hot Buttons Internet Edition, but in a year they could be obsolete and something new will crop up. So it's important to have your eyes open as parents. Regardless of what I tell you or what's in the book, there are going to be new things, so we have to be aware. One particular site that is popular with the teenagers right now is called chatroulette.com. And in researching for the book, I went there to see if it was exactly like I'd read. And what it is you type the site in the browser, the page opens up, and you're thrust into a chat instantly with a stranger anywhere in the world who's doing anything, posting any picture. You just don't know until you open the site. So I went there, and that's exactly what happened. The site opened up, and in the Hot Buttons Internet Edition, I pasted the words I saw when I first went to the site. And there are no limits. You don't have to check that you're a certain age. You don't have to have a membership. You can just go right there. And teenagers this is what they're doing on the bus rides home from school and on their cell phones. So we have to be aware, and we have to not just be aware and not just try to make rules, but we have to get a hold of our kids' hearts and get them to understand why these things are dangerous.
Why? Yeah, you keep bringing that out in your book. Now let's talk about predators and how the internet can be dangerous for even young children, because of sex trafficking, and young girls are being bought and used. Some are being snatched and kidnapped and hidden away, and some are being invited to meet.
Right.
And it's ending up in tragedies.
One thing I found when I was researching, I expected it to be that girls were unsuspecting, that they would be chatting with these people and think they were chatting with someone their own age, and then show up at a park to meet a boy and find out it was a 40-year-old man. But the statistics prove that more often than not, they know it's a grown man. That's what they're looking for. There's a need in their lives. They have a need for that that role model, that protector, that relationship, that promise, whatever's being promised by that man. They need to feel that fatherly relationship, whatever is missing in their lives, and they reach out for it on the internet, and that need is met through these chats, and then they meet, and they know full well that the person they're meeting is a 42-year-old man, and the statistics prove that. And what that tells me, and should tell all of us, is we have to make sure that we're being parents to our kids, and we're meeting those needs, and we're not just sending them out there to raise themselves and to find their own way. They're floundering.
These sex offenders and these predators know how to do it, and they can read the people and know how to schmooze them and meet their needs and get them where they want them and so forth. And parents need to take it very seriously. Then let's close out. For 2 weeks we've talked about hot buttons and dating, and now hot buttons and the internet. And I want to close out with the spiritual side of the choices that parents are to intentionally work on with their children, such as sin. You've mentioned it a time or two. We don't hear much about it anymore.
That's right, you're right.
But they need to know that when they break a commandment of God or don't follow His word, it's sin. And then parents, when they've offended their child unnecessarily, because the scriptures refer to that. Don't anger them, and
provoke
so forth.
Them to wrath.
Don't provoke them to wrath. That they need to know that they can confess that to their child. They should confess that to their child and ask their forgiveness. So you've got this for both, coming from both directions. Parents are to do it with their children, but the teens or the older children that understand are to do it also with their parents.
Yep, identify the sin, guide your teens to confession, to admitting, the things that have crept into their lives, but then setting forth a clean slate and saying, you know what, we're going to move forward from this moment, just like the grace that has been shown to us. And, Philippians says, he who began a good work in you, in them, in your teenager, will be faithful to complete it. So parents, we can rest, we can relax, and we can move forward with a clean slate, armed with tools we need.
Make sure that you get a copy of Nicole's book on the internet edition, and from last week having to do with dating, because everything is spelled out and written out so clearly and so plainly, and yet very reader friendly and also doable. The things that she outlines are doable. So, Nicole, I don't want to forget to tell you again how much we appreciate your coming.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate
and
it
sharing,
so much.
On Time for Hope from your books. And then I have a prayer request. Dear Dr. Freda, I have a 16-year-old granddaughter who lives with me. She is being very rebellious. Please pray for her and for me that I will have the strength to weather this storm with God's help. And we have prayed over this prayer request, and we can see the pain the grandmother is feeling and also the struggle of dealing with the 16-year-old's rebellion. And we honor each and every prayer request that comes into Time for Hope, and we know that God is able to help this grandmother. We have no doubt in our mind when we pray that God is able to intervene in any and every situation if it's taken to Him. And then we look for a note of encouragement for me, dear Dr. Freda. I always learn so much from watching the Time for Hope program. May God bless you and everyone at the Time for Hope ministry. I always say, yes, I greatly appreciate my staff, and I appreciate your appreciating all the people that stand behind me and help me produce this program. Thank you for having this program on television, and we're very thankful that God has arranged and for us to have this program on television. And if you haven't helped us financially with this program on television, I certainly encourage you to take that up with the Lord and see what He would have you to do about that.
A free fact sheet that contains additional information about today's topic is available upon request from our ministry. You can also receive a copy of today's resource for $8 plus $3 shipping and handling. To receive the free fact sheet or our guest's book, or both, you may call us at 1-800-669-9133. Write us at Post Office Box 2169, Spartanburg, South Carolina 29304. Or visit our website at timeforhope.org. When you call or write, please prayerfully consider a donation to our ministry. Our ministry's mission is to offer hope to discouraged and hurting people. As we continue to give out messages of hope, you can become a member of our team by sending us a financial gift of any amount. When you send your gift to support Time for Hope, you are joining us in offering hope to many viewers who might believe there is no hope for their situation. And you're also enabling us to inform and inspire some viewers to expand our mission as they learn and in turn can minister more effectively to hurting people around them. To see this program again online, go to our website or find us on YouTube. Join us next week on Time for Hope as Dr. Cruz discusses another insightful topic. Until next time, have a great week, and remember, it is time for hope.